John, I'm going to be doing your virtual walkthrough here on your Wolf Pup. First and foremost, you have your 2-inch coupler right here. Right in this position is the unlock position. When you get it hooked up to your tow vehicle, you're going to lock it down. Recommend getting a coupler lock pin. That's good for storing it. Also for when it's on the vehicle to ensure extra security that it's not going to pop off on you. Got your 7-pin cord here. This guy does, this will plug into your tow vehicle. It's going to do your turn signals, your parking lights. It'll either charge the battery if you have a charge wire coming off of your tow vehicle, as well as if you have a brake controller, it's going to engage trailer brakes. Okay, there is a little holder for it right here. Keep it out of the weather. Got your safety chains. There's a holder for that as well. These you don't want to twist too much, just so that they don't bind up on you. But these will hook right to the tow vehicle as well. And you got your safety cable, this breakaway cable. Recommend hooking it separately. Getting a carabiner like this, 20 or 30 pounder, and hooking it separately to the truck. This is supposed to pop out in case the trailer ever comes disengaged, and it engages the trailer brakes to help keep it from running away. You got your 20-pound propane tank. Make sure that it's all the way on or all the way off when you're turning it on and off. Take this tank out. You're gonna loosen up this strap here, slide it out. Then you got a little thumb screw over here. You're gonna loosen this thumb screw up, and that tank will come out to get it refilled. Right behind the tank, you have your Group 27 deep cycle marine battery. It is a sealed battery. It is a wet cell sealed battery. So it's maintenance free. You do have a charger on here. It trickle charges it through solar. Right. Moving around to this side, got your water heater. Now it is dual element, so you have an electric element down here with the switch for the electric side right here, and it's gas as well, and the gas switch is inside, and we'll show you that when we get inside. Most important on this water heater is this drain plug combo anode rod, and that anode rod, it starts deteriorating. Instead of eating away at the inside of the tank from hard water, it takes away that anode rod. So you want to check that periodically, as well as drain the tank if you're going to be storing it for an extended period of time. It will start smelling like rotten eggs if you leave the water in there for an extended period of time. Okay. All 4 corners have these stabilizer jacks. Now it does come with a hand crank. You can also buy an adapter or get a 3/4 inch socket on a drill and run those up and down that way. And those are just for stabilizing. It's not for leveling in any way. Moving over here, you have your freshwater intake. This is going to be for if you're going to be boondocking or dry camping or off-grid camping where you need to fill up before you get to where you're going. Recommend getting closer to your destination before you fill up, because it is 8.5 pounds per gallon of water in that tank. So try to minimize on that extra cargo weight. If you are going to be camping somewhere that you have hookups, you're going to be hooking up your freshwater or potable water hose to this connection right here. When you do work off the freshwater tank, you do have a drain right here. So recommend pulling that, letting that water drain out, and not letting it stay stagnant in there when you're done camping. These tires, they have a indicator on them on the valve stem. It tells you exactly what the pressure is supposed to be set at. These are supposed to be at 65. Now it's green right now, which means the pressure is good. It will change to yellow when the pressure starts getting too low, and obviously it'll go to red when it's really low. But if you ever have any doubts of what the pressure should be, it's right on that cap. Right here you have your 30 amp shore hookup. This only can go on one way. This little J hook right here can only line up to that one right there. It just goes in, and then it's got a little locking collar on there so that it can't fall out on its own. Okay. Moving down here, you have your black tank drain and your gray tank drain. Now I recommend keeping these closed while you're camping. You do have a monitor panel inside to monitor the tank levels. You You want to drain the black tank first. That's your toilet water. You're going to let that drain through the hose. Once that's done draining, you can close that off, open up the gray side, and help rinse out that water. Now the gray tank is going to be your shower and your sink, so it's going to be more soapier water to help rinse that hose out. Okay. You do have what's called a convenience light up here. There's a switch for that inside just to help nighttime if you do need to dump out at night. Moving around to the back here, these bumper caps pop off, and you can store most sewer hoses. Some of the more heavier duty ones don't fit just because the ends are a little bit bigger, but most standard sewer hoses will fit right inside this bumper cap, keeping it more sanitized than having it in a compartment in the camper. Back rack. It's got a 200-pound carrying capacity. Pull these forward pins out on both sides. It'll lay down, and you want to put the pins back in place for travel. Like I said, 200-pound weight capacity. People put grills on here, wood, coolers. I've even seen people rig up some kind of bike rack on here, okay? Just make sure that those pins are put back in place. Alright, moving around to door side, you do have a leash latch, hooking up the dogs to it, tying up any toys with a bike lock or something like that. This fridge here, this only works off of 110 power, so you got to be hooked to shore power for this fridge to work. Okay, it does have your controls right here for your temperature. Recommend keeping it turned down a little bit for extended stays so that it doesn't freeze up on you. You do have an outside TV mount, as well as ports for your AV cable and cable output. And then you have an outlet right here for power for that TV. Outside speakers out here, which is controlled by the radio inside. As I was telling you before, you do have that crank handle for the stab jacks, and it's just cranking these down. Cranking them back in. These folding steps here are very important. You want to make sure that this threshold right here is sitting on top of this threshold. You do have adjustments on these legs. These pins pop out and the legs slide up and down. Now what I recommend doing is pulling these pins out, and when you go to open it up, you're going to open this up, hold the legs, let the threshold sit down, and then you can let the legs drop out and naturally sit on the ground. And then wherever the holes line up, you pop those pins right back in. Okay. Then we're going to be moving on to the inside.